Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I hope you are all doing well. I'm smiling because England have just beat Wales. A great performance, I thought totally dominant throughout, which you would expect, to be fair, considering the lineups. And I'm smiling because one man in particular who I saw getting absolutely berated at halftime all over Twitter. And he scores that free kick and he scores the goal after as well. And I have to mention Marcus Rashford because I feel Marcus Rashford has had a lot of stick. And in all fairness to him, I thought even on the ball, I know at times his touch was a bit off and stuff like that, but throughout all that, I feel like he's still one of our main threats going forwards, and obviously from set pieces and stuff as well. From that free kick, he showed his quality. But I thought his work rate, his pressing as well. Obviously, his press led to that second goal too. So I just feel like Rashford was great, and hopefully we see a picture of him with the man of the match. We should see a picture of him with the man of the match to follow Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro as well with their recent picks. And it's just nice to see Rashford smiling again and looking confident again. I think for so long we know that Rashford's been so low on confidence. So to see him today, I mean, Lawbreaker said there, Rashford is back. I hope you're right. But for sure, that performance tonight was great from him. It'll boost his confidence and do him wonders. At the end, when he was kind of looked at like he was limping a little bit, I was a bit worried, but hopefully he's just shattered because he did work his socks off. Like I say, off the ball, you don't always notice it, but his pressing was great as well. And he was always a big threat for England going forwards. He was great, Ivan. I agree with you. And Gaz, it's me. I'm back today. Can I just say as well, a massive thank you to Maze and that filling in for me, obviously, on Friday night. I appreciate them so much for doing that. And I did have a little tune in when I could. But yes, it was great to get them on. And obviously, I'll get them on a Ladies in Red show all together with myself and I guess soon as well. But yeah, today I just wanted to do a quick recap, really, for what was a great game for England. Look, we now go through. We've got Senegal on Sunday. That is not going to be an easy game. Let's face it, it's knockout football. No game is going to be an easy game. We already know that. It's international level. But Senegal, I know pushovers for sure. And I think it's going to be a different test for England. I think it's going to be a physical test, and I think that we've got to be at it. But today, to be fair, it's a big step up from that game, obviously, against the USA. And yeah, England well deserved the win. Could have had a few more goals at the end as well. We're kind of trying to pass it in. We were enjoying ourselves a little bit, I felt, at the end. And I need to mention it. I've mentioned him before and I'll mention him again. But Jude Bellingham, what a special talent he is. I do fear that he's going to end up at City or Liverpool. Hopefully we can get him in a United shirt at some point in the future, because for me, he's a special, special talent. And I know I've said him numerous times, but again, I think his talent was on show. He was just phenomenal from start to finish. The amount of maturity that he has on the ball, the way that he always seems to keep control of the ball, some of the little silky touches he does as well. He's just a phenomenal player, and you would not think he's the age that he is at. And he's a player that I'm really excited to see more of in this tournament. And he's a player that, for me, has to be one of the first names on the team sheet because he has been absolutely quality yet again. And I think Bellingham is a really exciting player. We've seen players in the past who've just been overhyped because they're English, and we know it happens. But Bellingham is different. I genuinely think he's different. And the fact that he's a local lad as well, obviously he played for Stourbridge before he went to Blues and stuff, which is really local to me, which is why I've always got a soft spot for him. But I just thought, again, he bossed the midfield. And Wales have just been the Wales that we know of many years. Obviously, over the years, they've had Bale to kind of bring that moment of magic for them, and Ramsey as well. But players are getting past their best, and we can see that. And I think Wales, they need to work on that younger generation coming through. I think it has just been one of them this tournament where I think it's shown really with high pressing teams, they struggle. They can't really keep up with that energy. And England today did that. They pressed really high, literally all the way to the end of the game, with the strikers leading the press and obviously everyone else following up. And Wales couldn't really deal with that. They were hoping for that long ball up to keep them all, but to be fair, Stones and Maguire marshalled him really well. And yeah, all in all, I thought it was a really, really positive performance from England. Look, it is Wales. We can't get too carried away. A bit like we said about the Iran game, it's a good performance, but we can't get too carried away. I think the USA game was a bit more of a reality check. Hopefully we've got our blip out the way, if you like, and we can keep those consistent performances now, because today was effective. It was to the point. We were clinical. And like I said, we could have even scored even more. We were kind of passing it around and trying to score that perfect goal at the end. So that should now give us confidence going into that next game against Senegal. But like I say, we must be at it. It's knockout football. They're going to be fighting for their lives, as so should we. But you do look at our team, and I think the big bonus that we have, and I think today showed that again, is the squad depth that we have, the players that we can bring on to make a difference in the game. I mean, we're bringing on players, even players like Trent, who I know gets a lot of stick, but realistically, he's better than most first choices in most other teams. So I think the fact that we've got that squad quality and that squad depth, the different players that we can bring on, like I say, to impact the game, I think that gives us an extra advantage, if you like, in this tournament, and that's why we have to be up there as one of the favourites. Look, we still have our down days, and a lot of people don't like Southgate tactically and whatnot, but the quality of our squad cannot be underestimated. Like, we have got a quality squad, like I say, that the players that we've got to bring on as well, giving us that extra quality. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing with today's performance. With England, I know we're not the easiest to watch at times, but I thought, especially in that second half, we got out quickly. The free kick, obviously, I think, kind of took a lot of pressure off our players' shoulders. And then once we went ahead, we didn't really look back. We just steamrolled them. Keep Foden in that side. Never thought I'd be saying that. Look, Phil Foden, rivalries aside, obviously he's at City, and I hate the fact he's at City. But I can appreciate a good footballer when I see one. And Phil Foden, for me, is a ridiculously good footballer. Such a silky player. Seems to breeze past players. His touch. He's just a quality player. And I hate the fact that he wears the blue of City, of course. But in an England shirt, again, I mentioned Bellingham being a special talent. And Foden is also a special talent. And again, I would also start him in every single game. I agree with you there, Lawbreaker. I do agree with what Rio said at halftime. I'd like to see him a bit central at times as well, trying to link that play, threading those balls. I think his movement's clever, and his touch, like I say, his quality, and he can pick it up in those pockets and be a difference. So I'd like to see him centrally as well. But Phil Foden is, a quality player. Torstein, Rashford is looking more like the old Rashford that we know, isn't he? He's looking more and more confident. He's got a smile on his face. He's putting free kicks away. I saw an angle on Twitter of that free kick, by the way. It's an absolute rocket. So fair play to Rashford. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if Ronaldo's going to try and claim that one, by the way. But no, all jokes aside, England, positive performance. I'm smiling after that. Second half, I thought was phenomenal. First half, we were a bit slow, a bit passive, should you say, but we still dominated. We never looked in trouble at any phase. And yeah, on to the next one at the weekend against Senegal, which is going to be a tough test. I mean, in the chat, let me know your thoughts on that performance. I don't want to get too overwhelmed and too hyped up because we know what it's like in this country. I'm not saying it's coming home or anything like that. But yeah, much improved performance. Our star players, the players that we wanted to stand out, our flair players, definitely stepped up. The likes of Rashford, the likes of Bellingham, the likes of Foden. But yeah, there's so many players for me who have impressed tonight. I think, and that's what I also like. I think that the team that we played tonight was much more balanced. I really do. I know a lot of people were moaning about Henderson, and Henderson is a player who gets on my nerves because for me, he's a bench watcher. And what I mean by that is one of those players, and if you've played football, you'll know exactly what I mean because every team has one. They'll play a pass and they'll look to the bench to see if the manager's watching them. And that's the kind of player that Henderson is for me. He's a goody, but his leadership in there, his grit, he was up for it. You can see him commanding more from his players. And I do think every team needs a player like that. Yes, he's not the most glamorous on the ball and stuff, but vocally, having that leader in there, especially in a game of a rival nature like against Wales, I do think is effective. So, yeah, fair play to Henderson. I don't think there was a player who really put a foot wrong tonight. I thought they all played well. But I wanted to mention that because, like I say, rivalries aside, I hate him as a Liverpool man. I hate Henderson. But in an England shirt, I do think he's one of them players that's kind of essential just to lift everyone else. And not necessarily by his performance, but by what he brings. He is kind of a leader. He has to give something because let's face it, on the ball, he's not the best, like as I've just mentioned. But he is that commanding kind of player. And I think today that showed. I can understand why you played him against Wales to get that passion, if you like, because you need that, especially in the midfield in a game like that. I'm not saying I would put Henderson in every game because I wouldn't, but I can see why he was put in there for that leadership that he brings. He's the manager's golden child. I know exactly like he's that guy who's always looking for the manager to say, look, did you see what I did then? Did you know what I mean? He's that kind of guy. He's a goody two shoes, as I would call him. A brown nose is what a lot of people would probably say as well. But yeah, I was buzzing to see the general performance from everybody. I think it was a balanced performance, a strong performance, and we should now be taking confidence into that next game on Sunday. Gaz, it is live. It is live. England versus Senegal will be exciting, and Netherlands against it will be exciting. I mean, knockouts is always exciting, is it? Because you've got everything to play for. Makes me nervous as well because you can't have a blip like we did against USA. We need to be at it for every single game. Hopefully, our blip is done, dusted, out the way, and England can now take some confidence, like I say, into that game on Sunday. Let's not forget, by the way, with Koulibaly scoring that goal for them today as well. They're going to be feeling confident. And as I've already mentioned, they're going to be fighting for every ball. It's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a tough test. They're not going to lie down easily. We've got to be at it. No doubt about it. Our squad, if you look at our squad in general, not just against Senegals, but everybody, we've got a technically fantastic, gifted, young squad. We should be beating teams like Senegal. But we know this World Cup has already proven it. That's not always the case. The team on paper doesn't reflect what happens on the pitch, and we need to now have some consistency in our performances. If you are going to win a tournament, you need to be a consistent team. And of late, England haven't been that. Hopefully now, with a win against Wales in the manner that we did, we can get a bit of consistency and a bit of confidence in our performances. And I mentioned it before the tournament. With the Euros, I felt we had a lot of players who were on form at the same time, which really helped because everybody was kind of on a high. With like the run up to the World Cup, I wasn't feeling the same buzz, if you like, about certain players. I'll bring Rashford into that bracket. Hadn't really been firing on all cylinders, but it seems now that he's getting his confidence back. Bellingham seems to be balling out. He's absolutely loving it. And players like Wilson being there as well, who I think's got everything in his game. He came on and he had an effective performance as well. He can run in behind. He proved physically against the two Welsh centre-backs he could hold the ball up. It would have been nice for him to get a goal at the end as well. But I think having certain players flourishing puts me in a better stead mentally going into that game in terms of my confidence. So, yeah, after every single game, guys, there is going to be a video on Ladies in Red. As you saw, Mason, that did it on Friday. I'm doing it today. But I want to recap every single England game as we go along because let's see, hopefully this can be a memorable tournament for us for all the right reasons. It'd be nice to go that extra step, wouldn't it? But I'm not getting too ahead of myself. I'm smiling. Buzzing the fact that we've had 3 United players obviously in the lineup with the likes of Maguire, Shaw and Rashford getting that man of match. Surely he's got the man of match performance after that anyway. Southgate, a lot of people were getting on his back and stuff beforehand, and look, we're not the best team to watch at times, and with the players that we've got, he should be. But I also feel like he earned the right to take us to another tournament after what we did at the Euros. I know we lost in the final and stuff, and yeah, we went a bit defensive, you'd say, in that final a bit too early. But in general, he's been our most successful manager of late. So for me, he deserved this tournament. If it goes pear-shaped, touch wood, it doesn't. But if it goes pear-shaped, then of course I do think that'll be the end of Southgate. But I think for now, we need to be patient. We need to trust him. He got us to a final. If he wins us the World Cup, I don't think too many people are complaining about that style, to be fair. So let's see. Let's see on Southgate. Bit of sympathy for Wales going so early after all these years, but they did well to qualify. Yeah, and like I say, I meant no disrespect when I said that earlier. But I think with Wales, it's a case of their star players, like obviously we already know about Bale, Ramsey, players like that who used to have their moments of magic. They just haven't anymore. They're kind of past it. And it's about these new breed of players coming through now with a quality manager and just embedding a new style with them. I think Johnson is a talented player. I'm excited to see where he goes in terms of his career. So I think Wales, it's more of like a rebuild for them now. That era is kind of gone. And it's about now starting with the fresh blood, isn't it? So, yeah, sympathy for Wales, of course. They did do well to qualify. I would have liked to see them go through as well as England. But I do think it's a reflection of where their squad is at the moment because their star players have simply passed it. They've got young players who maybe this tournament was one too early for them. They're kind of in that transition phase, aren't they? So, yeah, I think Wales will come back. Like I said, they've got some talented players coming through. But yeah, this tournament was just a bit too much for them with the squad that they've got at the moment. I think they couldn't deal with the high press, which most teams play. And they struggled with that. Legs kind of couldn't hack it. So, yeah, commiserations to Wales, of course. But I'm sure they'll be back. And let's face it, if Wales would have beat England, we would not have heard the last of it, would we? Let's face it. But yeah, obviously, best wishes to them. Gaz says I'm from Belfast. Hope England win it. So, from near Belfast. I hope we do as well, but I'm not getting too ahead of myself. De Bruyne getting man of the match. Who? Is it right that De Bruyne spoke out about the Belgian squad being a bit old and leggy as well? If anyone could confirm that. I heard that is what he said. USA are not a bad team. They're athletic, aren't they? They're young, they're aggressive, they press high. Like I mentioned, that high press some teams struggle with, like Wales. USA definitely have that energy. They're an energetic team, and yeah, they've definitely got players who can hurt teams. So yeah, they're not a bad team at all. Not a bad team at all. And I know they were unlucky against us. We were lucky really to get that 0-0 at the end of it. We were poor. But yeah, they're well deserved of going through after how they performed in the group 100%. But it is football, not soccer. I will say that. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back with a show this week with Zio. I spoke to him earlier today. He can't make tonight, but he's going to join me on a show this week. So of course we'll do some shows before that Senegal game as well. But yeah, all that's left to say is please share the stream, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Much love to you all in the chat. Hello to Aikvin, by the way, before we go. He should have had 4. He could have had 4. But you know what? He's smiling again. He was our biggest threat throughout. His pressing was quality. Yeah, I'm happy with Rashford. Man of the match, surely, for him tonight. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Please hit a like on the video. If you are new, please hit the sub button on Ladies in Red as well. And of course, if I've missed your comments, I don't think I've missed any, but if I have, please just drop it underneath the video and I'll always reply to you there. All that's left to say is enjoy the win. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Keep an eye out for my tweets for when I'm live next. And I will speak to you all soon. Hello to Alex just tuning in. 0 sim for Wales, because I know exactly they would have loved it. We would have heard the end of it. So yeah, we move. But I'm sure Wales will be back. I'm sure they'll be back. And big up to Lawbreaker as well. But guys, thank you so much. Look after yourselves. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Take care.